Alright, so this is the video for the pegboard leg. These are the major things I'm going to cover. How to edit to begin going in and finishing your pegboard leg. What the dimensions are for your pegboard leg. How to extrude, return, and save your pegboard leg when you're done with your dimensions, and how to place and constrain your second pegboard leg. If you need to pause, rewind, or fast forward this video at any time, please do so. And if I can, I will try to come back and place some hyperlinks over these four different things so that you can just click on those links. So there may or may not be some links right in this area here. If so, you can click on those to fast forward to that part of the video. Here we go. Let's get started. For anything that you do, you will need to open your pegboard assembly. Make sure that I'm in my project. For this example, I'll use the PM project, and we're going to go to Open, and I'm going to open my assembly. And I'm just going to go through everything, starting with editing to begin and going in and doing the dimensions now. So right click and edit, and you'll see that I have the leg edited. The leg is isolated. I've got my extrusion here. You might just have a sketch, and so you would see just the sketch, and you can right click and edit sketch. Okay, here are the dimensions. I'll delete them and show you how they should be placed. We dimension across the top first, 0.75. We dimension from the top of the green line to the top of the yellow line, 1 inch. We dimension from the bottom of the green line to the bottom yellow line, 3 inches. And we dimension from the end of our pegboard to the outside of our leg, the top dimension divided by 2. Now you will notice I also don't have the line going through here anymore. If you have that, you need to use the trim tool and click on this line here. Now I just drew it in there so you could see me trim it, but after you do that, you would need to use the collinear constraint on this line here and this line here. It's probably going to give me an error because I've already done this. It's saying I've already done this. When you have all of your dimensions and they look like this, again, this dimension is the 0.75 divided by 2, this top dimension divided by 2. If you need to pause here to get the dimensions down, please do that. When you're done, finish your sketch and click return. Here is the return button, but we're not going to do that yet because we're going to edit our feature. Now the first thing we have to do is select the profile, and you can see which profile part do we want. We want the leg. When you do that, this box here that says distance, we want it to go to the selected face. Where do we want to extrude to? We're on the front of the pegboard. We want to extrude to the back of the pegboard, not the yellow dot, the back of the pegboard. Click here. When you do that, hit the check mark. If your peg does not have this notch, you need to rewind and go to the part where I talk about using the trim tool. And you would right click and edit your sketch to get back in there. Now we're done with the extrusion. Now we can hit return. Once you hit return, you need to go file and save your part. I'm going to delete this side of the peg, and now we're going to show you how to place and constrain your pegboard leg. Place the leg and just place it wherever you'd like. You need to get into a view. I like to use the corners because they show me more information than just the front. And I can see the edges a little bit better. I like to use the view visual style shaded with edges because it highlights and darkens the edges. Let's go back to our Assemble tab and use our Constrain tool. The first constraint we want to do is to take the end of the pegboard and the back of the groove of the pegboard leg. Those two are going to be kind of glued together per se, like that. You can see how the two blue edges are touching. Now it's not the exact spot, but we need to hit apply because we cannot slide this left and right. Yes, it can go up and down, but we can still fix that. We're not done constraining. Yes, it can go forward and back, but again, we're not done constraining. Now let's take a look. The bottom of the pegboard, the bottom of the groove and the bottom of the pegboard, those have to go together. The light side here and then the dark side of the pegboard. So we need to use our Constrain tool, make sure we're not clicking on lines or edges, we're getting faces. The bottom face with the bottom face of our pegboard. When we've got that into place there, like so, the blue and the blue are glued together, we can hit apply. And the last thing we need to do is line up the front with the front. We see how these two are lined up nice and neat. We need to do the same thing over here. But because the arrows are facing the same way, this is where we need to go to the flush constraint. And that will allow us to flush up our pegboard. And this completes the assembly of the pegboard leg. If you need to go back to any part, I will try to also link the video to these parts here if you need to rewind. Otherwise, use the rewind button to find at the very beginning how to edit and begin. After that, we talked about dimensions, extruding, returning, and saving. And we just finished the place and constrain. Hopefully this video was helpful, and stay tuned for the next video where we make some more parts for the pegboard.